Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation, where we talk about fishing and competition. It's your boy Ox Pippin, aka Ox Fishing. Don't come over here tripping. Hey, hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to KBN Live. 7:32, a little bit late, but we're all right. We're doing all right. It's kind of my fault. Ryan was just chilling in the lobby there, and I wasn't paying attention. I'll
it's okay. Y'all were talking sports betting or something really important.
Yeah. Really important because he's winning. So we'll get into some of that later, maybe. What's up, everybody? It's Monday night. Appreciate y'all joining us tonight. We're talking BOS 2023 look back and a little bit of 2024. I don't know. AJ may have some surprises for us tonight. I don't know, Ryan.
We're going to find out.
We're going to talk about it. So I think it'd be fair to say AJ pulled us out of the low class tourneys and the first look at an elite series years ago when they launched the BOS and still to this day.
Out of the low class tourneys.
Well, you know what I mean. The low class opens here and there and not really knowing what we were doing as a sport. To an actual, we always say it's the elite series. I know it still opens, but it's our version of the next level, upper level series that we.
I mean, obviously, it was definitely a huge level up for everybody, and brought us the TOC, which that quickly became the pinnacle.
That's right. So, and that's what I was going to say, man. The TOC has still held its place as the most elite field that you can qualify for. I'd say in kayak fishing. Fair,
for sure.
Coming from a former champ, right? TOC champ right there. One of the select few.
Yeah, I barely remember it now.
So long ago.
It feels like it's 20 years ago.
Well, we're going to get into some of that. Look back at some of the highlights of 23. Then we'll look ahead to 24, talk about the schedule. And then I know there's been some tweaks to rules and whatnot as all the organizations kind of jockey to make their changes for next year. So it should be fun, man. What's going on? How was your weekend?
Yeah, spent it in Las Vegas, Nevada. So that was great. Oh, you done pissed AJ off. He just dipped.
What? AJ? Damn it. No. Hey, please.
Some low class person probably pulled the plug on his internet or something.
Damn it. I didn't mean to cause a problem.
He's been cut off.
I don't know what to do now.
Oh, man.
There he is. He's back.
We went out to Vegas for NFR, and that was great. I've been to Vegas a couple times. I have never seen Vegas the way I saw it over the weekend. I'm in no hurry to get back.
Really? What's up? Just packed?
No, I mean, it was great. It was just so much stuff. They have like a convention part, then there's obviously the rodeo part, and then a bunch of my buddies were playing music out there. So you just ran around, chasing everybody till forever, till all night.
Till all night long.
Yeah. Yep.
That's wild. Well,
it's good.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna have something cool for us tonight, Ryan, but it's not working right.
So we got AJ, and we're
yeah. I thought tonight was the first night we were gonna be streaming also on Instagram.
You can do that?
Yes, it's a new.
Really?
Supposedly, allegedly.
Well, no, you can't. But we tried.
Yeah, allegedly you can, but it isn't working quite right. I'm gonna try to work it out as we talk. But right now we're not. But we're streaming everywhere else that we always stream: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. I think the Twitchers are in. Let's see. Yep, there he is. We got the Twitcher. He's in.
Nice.
It's even showing some X/Twitter viewers tonight, which it usually doesn't show that. So there's new features everywhere.
All right.
So holler at you from over there on X. I don't know if we can see.
Do we have any news? Do we have anything breaking over the weekend?
Man,
everything's pretty much done.
He said this mofo said low class. Damn, I didn't know what else to say. Sorry, Clifton. No, I don't know, man. Somebody said, "What did you think of the horse soldier tribute? What's that about?" I don't know. Calvin Johnson.
I loved it.
What was that? What I missed?
I have no idea. I missed it too, I think.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, it sounds very cool, but I don't know. Sorry, man. I'm out. But yeah, it's
the comments are going to be trouble tonight. I can tell from here.
Yeah, that's a new Twitcher, man. T-Grux. I don't know T-Grux, but appreciate it.
I think that's a different kind of Twitch he's watching. I'm not sure that's where it's intended to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so disappointed in this Instagram thing. I thought we were going to get to debut AJ over on the gram.
This is Smart Water, Clifton. That's what I'm going with
drinking
tonight.
The Sam's Club water.
There you
representing the locals. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's the quote off season. We've talked about that a couple times. It's more just adjustments to leagues and things like that. Didn't Jim Ware win 2024 tournament in 2023 over the weekend?
Well, I mean, the year part's not important.
Yeah,
he did. Del Hollow, and Jim, he's put in his work up there and dialed those fish in. It paid off for him.
There you go, Jim. Congrats, my friend. He's one of the good ones too, man. Jim's
heck yeah, you gotta love Jim. If you've never met Jim, you need to just go meet him, talk to him for about 5 minutes, and you'll be best friends.
That's right. So well done, Jim. Garrett Morgan says, so is everyone invited to fish the MLF series, or what's going on there? I know that's Bass Boat World, but it is kind of a funny parallel that we've seen in kayak fishing in the past, which is when there's not enough people signing up, everybody gets an invite. That's what happens. So that's what's happening over there. It seems like on not the actual MLF circuit, which bumped up to 65 again today. I did see that from 50 to 65, but the step down, the one step down, it would have been the old Toyota series, I guess. Right now it's the Tackle Warehouse Tour, the step right below MLF. They're letting all kinds of like co-anglers, whoever, they're getting qualification spots. So there you go.
Here you go. Post Calvin's explanation up there. I didn't actually get to see the rodeo part. I was in the convention center part, and then a lot of the after.
Oh, he was talking about your Vegas trip.
Yeah.
I didn't know what he was talking about.
No, it wasn't just something out in the yard there with
Yeah, I thought somebody made it some sort of inappropriate post or something on our page.
No,
I didn't know what he was talking about. So yeah. All right. Wait.
Let's do it.
I don't think there's much more news to talk about. Of course, the show is presented by Eco Fishing Shop, ecofishingshop.com. Go over there and check them out. If you guys saw before we went live, we're doing another Revo giveaway tonight before Christmas. We're going to give away some glasses. So hit that like and share on Facebook, comment, and everywhere else, just comment where you're watching from. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, maybe Instagram. I don't know if it's actually working over there or not. Comment, and we'll get those Revos given away later on. Pro Guide Lithium, we appreciate them. We're rolling back into 2024 with them. And as you guys get whatever you're going to get for Christmas, you need to power it. Don't be slipping don't go cheap on the batteries now. Don't get some elite motor or graph and then go cheap on the batteries. Go get you a Pro Guide and you'll be set for the next year. And then, of course, Bangtail Whiskey, Revo, Gill, Z-Man, Seaguar. We appreciate all of our other podcast sponsors.
Yeah.
Let's get one of the OGs in here, man. Let's get AJ in here.
All right.
My man has been in here a bunch. He was in here with us early. He was still willing to come back and get on the show again after all this time against his better judgment. What's up, AJ?
What's up, guys? How are y'all doing tonight?
Good, man.
Dream. We got a cold front. You got this big front rolling in, Jeff?
It's cold. Yeah.
Out our way, I don't know if it's doing it at your house, AJ, but it's blowing like 60 outside. It's dropping off cold right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So if my internet goes out, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the whole barn is a shaking, you know.
Yeah, it's getting rowdy out there.
Indiana. Of course it's cold in Indiana, man. It's Indiana.
Oh.
We're in the South. We're down here in the South.
Get ready to star a lot of these questions, Jeff. They're popping up left and right.
I know. We got some wild ones. It's gonna be a good night. Well, AJ, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good. It's late November, December timeframe where everybody thinks that the tournament directors aren't doing anything, but we're getting after it. We're trying to get you all ready, and we start early this year. Harris Chain of Lakes in January, so we're trying to get everything lined up and finished, and should be rolling things out later this week with some teasers and some conversation points coming out tonight here on KBN Live.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
I like it. Well, before we get into the teasers and what's going on next year, man, let's take a little look back at 23. Give us a breakdown of how you felt about the 23 season, some of the highlights, some of the numbers from the season, and what you felt about it.
Yeah, I think I think it was an interesting year for us because we came out of the previous year where the events were selling out, but they weren't really selling out. People were just registering early and then deciding they weren't going to come, which meant that people that wanted to fish couldn't. It was a weird dynamic, but it was a lot of excitement. So I think one of the things that we did is we tried to kind of line things out so that maybe wouldn't happen and the right people would get to fish and things like that. But we probably kind of over convoluted that a little bit and maybe made some adjustments that weren't necessary. So we look forward to kind of dialing that back a little bit and just getting back to running a good, a good tournament series with easy entry and things like that. And if you guys sell out some events, we're here for it. We've got a system in place.
So what did you think? As far as like everything went last year tournament wise, obviously, you discussed the attendance part, but you had some rule changes last year that were implemented. Everything, it seemed like went fairly smoothly throughout the year with the BOS series.
Yeah, I think it did. I think it was a good year. Our numbers early in the season were really good. I think everybody sees good numbers early in the season when folks still are fishing hard and traveling, and we go to some premier places at great times. Overall for the season, we had an average of 133, which was, I think, our second best average all time. So it was still a really good year for us. Payouts were high. We went to paying out 15% of the field this year instead of 10%, which allowed a lot more folks to get paid than they would have normally been. So that was nice. Folks spend a lot of money traveling to these events, and even last place money at some of these events was $500, $600. So it goes a long way. The top end isn't as high when you chop it up like that. But we still had great first place payouts in all of our events this year. So that's that was one of the things for us is it went, I think, went really well. Numbers were good, higher in the Northeast. Northeast took us 3 years to kind of get going up there, but I think we're going to build on some steam at Cayuga this year. Going in a little bit earlier should be more of a smallmouth bite. So, I just think you just keep building on things year to year and, make some adjustments where you need to and, maybe let some things play out for a year or two in some spots as well.
Hey, I'm going to pause for a second, Ryan. We live on the Insta. It's working. So,
oh my goodness. Look at that.
We are so high class. Not low class around here, man. No low class. But anyway,
I didn't know what you were about to say.
Continue.
Yeah, that image looked all blurred out.
I thought we got a cease and desist or something. I was like, well, all right.
We've been banned.
Yeah, saw it coming.
Yeah, we're live on the Instagram, so shout out to Instagram folks. Our numbers bumped up by 1 when I did that. So
yes. I saw Joshua Evans post. You shared something. He said I didn't get to read it.
He was saying you're super consistent. He said this is the same way he talks during the midday updates. AJ's got a lot of practice talking at that camera, so he's good.
Yeah,
which we appreciate.
Yeah, man. Consistency is good sometimes. I used to walk around like campgrounds, holding up a laptop, trying to do midday updates, looking for service. But I think we've got it dialed in a little bit, and just trying to continue to maintain some consistency, and then grow in places that we can as well.
I like it. Hashtag
I like that Joshua, watches some midday updates.
Everybody watches midday updates, man. The only reason I ever fish a BOS event is to hopefully get my name called on the midday update. I don't even care if I win or not.
I like having mine on the midday update, then you don't hear it again.
Yeah, that's it. That's what you want. Small goals, baby steps. We're getting some phone slander. I shouldn't have showed that on camera.
It's too bad. It's too bad.
No love for the droids. Yeah.
Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go, buddy?
Yeah. So AJ, you kind of touched on 2023. 2022 was the year of FOMO, with the sellouts and all that stuff. And while you still had great numbers in 23, we didn't quite have the mad scramble where people were fighting over those entries. And you guys didn't want that. You kind of tried to control that by changing some things with announcement dates and everything. Were you pleased with how that turned out? Where people that wanted in were able to get in and things like that?
Yeah, I think that definitely played out that way. We really built in some stuff too for the people that qualified, for the TOC last year. They were able to register early and could register for all the events up front if they wanted to. So we just tried to give some incentive there to make sure that the people that, had earned it throughout, the year before had the opportunity to register early. And then throughout the season have incentives for if you're in a certain place in Angler of the Year, you get to register early. But, there's, like I said, there's a lot of work for things to not really play out that way. Ultimately, if you wanted to fish one of our events, you could. And it was great. And that's what we want. We want it to be open for everybody. And, sometimes people don't know until a week or two out. And so that's one of those things that, obviously we've got a capacity in these events. I think anybody that's fished a kayak tournament in the low to mid twos is a really nice number. That feels very crowded. So when you start getting, above that, it tends to dictate experience a little bit. So we, not just for the anglers, but for the staff as well. It can be really daunting for, judging, especially if you're at places during the right times where the fish are just going crazy. So all of those things can just make the experience a little bit less enjoyable for everybody. And so we wanted to make sure that capacity kind of keeps everybody knowing that even if it is a full field, it's still going to be limited to the point where we can all still have a good time and spread out and do our thing.
And I think one of the best moves you made, AJ, was changing that cancellation policy. Probably for your own peace of mind, but but in general, it set the field a lot sooner and made people commit rather than what was happening last year, which was you'd have people run up the numbers to, you'd have 25 people on the waiting list, and then here the team was going through numbers as people realized, oh, I just didn't want to miss out on an entry, but I really can't even go to this event. Did that help a lot?
They should have just kept their money and put it in the pot and let somebody else sign up in their place.
Yeah. No, there was a lot of variables that we would have liked to have done different, but we didn't know that we were going to go through that. The year before, I think we were averaging, low 100s and driving through registration. So, there's just been a lot of variables that have changed the series and the structure. And I think that's one of the things that's important is like, we do want to remain consistent, but we also want to evolve in certain areas as needed and make things easier on our staff as well as the anglers, so we can all get together and do what we're trying to do. It definitely helped changing that policy. And, I think there'll be some events maybe that might get close again down the road, but we'll see how it goes and we'll figure it out there. But I'm pulling a lot of that verbiage out of the rules just so, I'll put it within the event. But I mean, one of the things that we want to do is just consolidate our rule page. So there's simplicity in that, and people can find the pertinent information a little easier if they actually are trying to go read the rules, which is helpful in these events. Get rid of some of the clutter that might not apply to everybody.
Touch on that, AJ. He just said something there, Ryan. People that actually do read the rules, because that is something that you wouldn't think would be that difficult to expect. But yet, whether it's AJ, Steve, a local tournament director, whoever it is, it's an ongoing frustration. Is that fair, AJ?
It's a frustration. I think some people are really good at it, and they do, and they read, and then they do want to ask questions to confirm stuff. And I think that's great. I like that. I think some people just like to reach out and ask questions without doing the work for themselves. And that can be really a dangerous pattern, because there are things in the rules that you do need to know before the tournament, during the tournament, things like that if you haven't gone through and read the timelines and the rules and understanding it, there are subtle differences in every event and every different series, and those things really do matter. At the end of the day, it could be something like how you hold your fish in one series versus the other that will disqualify off somebody's fish, or it could be an interpretation of one thing versus the other. So it's just really just understanding what you're doing, and then knowing when things do change to go back in and familiarize yourself with the changes, and just being prepared. And it's always okay to ask questions. We just would really like if people would ask those questions after they read the rules instead of prior to reading the rules.
Amen.
I hope a lot of people listen to this episode.
Yeah, well, it would make for a less fun KBN page if they did read the rules, but still.
I read the rules and I still get paranoid, and I'll call AJ in the middle of the tournament if I think I'm doing good, just to make sure I haven't broken one.
And he's not alone, and I mean that's what we're here for. And I want to make sure to people do feel confident in that they are following the rules and knowing that and all of those things. So that's what we're there for sure.
Nate Connolly lines in and lines out. It's all about interpretation. All right, that's right. It depends on how you got your watch set.
And we get a lot of hashtag with the low class. I started something, Ryan. Why did I say that?
I don't know. I don't know why you said it.
I was talking about like even tournaments I used to run, like
Yeah.
Compared, sure. Compared us little local swabs compared to the high class tournament. Man, I don't know. Josh Evans, stepbrother. Oh no. Josh.
Okay. All right. We're getting out. We're getting off the reservation here.
Hey, if you're watching, look, I'm watching the Instagram live on this phone. So if you're on Instagram, it won't show the comments on our screen here on StreamYard. But if you comment on Instagram, I'll try to bring that question over here for AJ as well, because we're getting a fair amount of viewers over there.
Okay.
Anyway, continue, Ryan. My apologies.
I was just going to ask, let's get down to the meat and potatoes of it. What are we going to see that may be a little different? What adjustments or tweaks have you made kind of from a learning curve standpoint? And is there anything that you are changing up that you think is going to really boost this thing up here for next year?
Well, I thought we were kind of like slow playing 22 to 23.
I did too. And we got
into 24 there. I didn't even get a chance to talk about,
Oh, well, no, if you got some more things on the note card, go with that. I was just reading all these comments and got excited.
Let's just jump into it, man. Let's just jump into 24. I think that one of the things for us, one of the big things for us is we went to 4 events for Angler of the Year last year. We really wanted to give a lot of credit to all of the anglers that were traveling heavily for us. And what we found is that a lot of the folks competing for Angler of the Year were fishing the majority of the events, whether it was, 4 to 6. They were in that range trying to get the best points possible. But through our structure, we were only counting 3. And that's what we've done from the beginning. Went to 4 last year, but we are bringing it back to 3 events for 2024. So it'll be 3 events, and the Tournament of Champions will be the total for your Angler of the Year points. So I think that's a big thing that will be more accommodating to folks as they're picking and choosing between, different events, local events. They might try to target 3 or 4 of the Hobies, whereas last year they just knew they couldn't get 4. So they maybe fished 1 and when it came close, and that was all they were able to get after. So we really want as many people to feel like they've got a chance and that they can compete in the series through as long of the year as possible. And so having that many events, and then having like a year-end event like on Chickamauga in September, where it's attainable for so many people to come in and get that one more, even if that one is a little bit more of a travel for some of our Western, kind of not Western, but like, you guys know, like as far as west as we're pretty much going and have gone is kind of that central Texas and over. So kind of that area is where we want to have a few events, that anglers can get into and then feel like maybe they can do one more in Alabama or one more in Tennessee to get those 3. So we just want to feel like 3 is attainable. When you start doing 4, you're looking at having to travel really far for 2 to 3 events, depending on where you're from, where you're located. And I think the way the schedule plays out, there are going to be anglers that are able to see 3 events strategically that they can fish throughout the season. And then hopefully, we'll have a big blowout on Chickamauga at the end of the year where everybody's trying to get down.
I think three's a good number myself. I like it the way, 2 years ago, I think it shook out really well. And it 3 gives you a chance to cull, without usually you can hit 4 or 5 if you plan out your schedule, but it doesn't really put your back against the wall on knocking it out of the park if you're only able to fish 3 or 4.
Yeah. And
unless you're Ewing, and then you can just come in and, snipe 3 and win them all and go to the house or something.
He didn't just snipe 3. Yeah, Ewing. So this year, Ewing, I haven't had a chance to really talk about it, but Ewing, was so incredibly dominant on the series this year. And then he put it down on the TOC and did what he had to do to finish out. So, we all have watched him come onto the scene and how well he's done his first year, but then, the pressure and the way the TOC was structured that year was tough. Then last year, kind of the same type of deal. He was in the running throughout the year, but this year he dominated from the very first event and on. 2 wins, a second, a fourth. I mean, it was just really dominant to see what he did this year, and knowing that when he started the year on stage at Harris Chain, he was like, my focus is my college bass boat fishing this year. But then he dominated in the kayak.
That changed real quick.
Yeah. Well, it's been cool to watch him grow and succeed and accomplish his goals, and kind of get hit down a little bit, but then get back up and keep swinging. So I just want to give a shout out. Ewing was a hell of an angler all year and an awesome AFCO Angler of the Year for our series. And I know he's going to come out swinging again next year.
Of course. Have that live scope tuned up.
It's funny. The kayak series, the elite series itself on the bass boat side, it's quickly becoming a young man's game. I mean, if you look at the average age qualified for the elite series, average age of there's still old heads getting it done. Don't get me wrong. But in general, these young guys are really taking advantage of not only the technology, but the sheer amount of information that's out there to be able to quickly up your game.
Is that going to be our excuse now, Jeff? Is we're too old for it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I was 20 years younger.
I just think the learning
my motor
curve
won't run as fast now. I'm old.
I just think the learning curve is so much faster now.
I mean, the technology part is played a huge factor. It used to, instinct is still there, but now, especially with that forward-facing sonar component, it's a lot more technology based, and you can look at Ewing and what he's done with it. I mean, there's no arguing. If you get the learning curve down, then you're definitely at a huge advantage being able to target those less pressured fish.
Russell said I look like a poker player about to go all in, so I had to put the hood up.
You do.
Get up in there, play the role for you. Jacob Ruff with the hashtag low age anglers. No scorholiosis tonight, but the low age anglers. Appreciation, Jacob over there. You said something a minute ago, AJ, that I think is huge. The number of tournaments, 3 out of 8, and you would think it wouldn't make a huge difference in overall attendance. But if someone can't hit 4, like he said, they might just fish 1. So, that trade-off, it's like if they can't hit that 4th one, then why put the effort in at all, right? So it actually could allowing less events could lead to more attendance. Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah, I think so. You always just want to have enough, like the way you kind of structure it, you want it to be desirable for as many people to fish as long as possible. We all know fatigue sets in. We all know that it hurts to get, you're beat down on your favorite lake early in the season. And it's hard to overcome a lot of those things. It's happened to us all, and we've seen other people that go in really strong and they're feeling it, and it can be a tough start to the year. It can be conditions, style of fishing, all those variables. So you want it to stay relevant and stay exciting for anglers as long as possible. And I think that's a really important thing. And I think that's the cool thing that we do pack some events in at certain times of the year. And it feels a little heavy at first. Especially the first 2, it's 2 weeks apart, but it's Florida and Texas. And I know we'll have some anglers that go to both of them, but after that, it's literally 4 weeks between every single one of our events. And I know that we're fitting events in with all the others. But it's really challenging when you have all these schedules in 4 weeks a month to work it out to where people feel like they're not overwhelmed. And Steve and I always try to work together on schedules. I don't know how he does it. I mean, he makes schedules for like 5 or 6 different things. There's not enough weekends in the year for all of his schedules, but he still works with me in our schedule, and I appreciate him so much for that. So we can try to take care of the anglers in the best way, so they're spread out. But then if we get to the summer, and it's like up to New York, and then you have almost 2 months off before we go up to Michigan, and then it's like 5 weeks to Chickamauga. So it gets really spread out at the end of the year. So it just doesn't feel so much, especially during times of year where the bites traditionally are not fun or great. So it was really important for us to kind of create that in the schedule this year.
And there is your schedule to take a look at where all you're going to be running around to.
There's the schedule. Garrett Morgan's in the comments. He called a shot on Wright Patman Lake already. And that was one that a lot of people probably didn't recognize in Texarkana. But when it got announced, there was a lot of chatter about it. How did you land on choosing that area and that lake, AJ?
A few years ago, we were looking to kind of expand regionally and have a few events in each region. And we already had really strategic partners, but we were looking for some new ones. So I casted a lot of just nets out there and reached out to a lot of different random places. And that was actually even before the NFLPA, that other professional fishing league, had been there. They've actually been there twice. And ran their series out of that lake. It was actually before they'd been there, and they just, you had to go through the whole thing. Like, what is a kayak, and how do you all kayak fish, and what does this even mean? And so, like, from 5 years of that, trying that, they randomly reached out to me this year, and it was kind of a unique thing because I was kind of playing that one in a couple other regionally strategic places, and they came in eager. And when you're trying to find locations and you've been to so many of similar places, when you get a host community that is excited and eager and they want to support it, and it's some place that we've never really been before, I felt like that was a really unique thing. Obviously, location wise, it's really strategic because so many of our key anglers from Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, that area that really has Oklahoma that has a big group of our folks, they can get there. And it's a place that really no one's been to. I mean, it's the craziest thing when you talk about it, because, it's funny. And this is what I tell people is like, well, it's probably not even a top 25 lake in Texas, but Texas also has like all these amazing lakes. But if you take it to a bunch of these other states that we go to, it would probably be in the top 5. And because there are so many great lakes around it, a lot of those people don't even fish it at all. I mean, because you're a little over an hour from Caddo, you're a little over an hour from Fork, you're a little over an hour from all these places. So it really doesn't get a ton of pressure except from locals that like to fish. And it's just going to be one of those new challenges for folks. And I think that's one of the things that is important to see on a national schedule is a place that, you just haven't been before or that people aren't familiar with, so you can get everybody together and see how it goes.
I was caught off guard by it, but when it was announced, I saw the guys in Texas, the folks in the know about it. There was some solid chatter, like, look out, that place is going to surprise some people. So we'll see. Should be fun, especially that time of year. Should be really good.
Yeah, it's, I was like curious myself. I was like, has there ever been any kayak tournaments out there? So I was like, started searching Tourney X archives and did not find anything. And then I started searching some other archives, and I was like, all right, let's go. Let's roll this thing out there. As far as I know, as far as trackable, I couldn't find. I didn't know if maybe it had a different name, but I don't know that there's ever been a kayak tournament out there nationally that is recorded on any of our sites. So it'd be cool to kind of see it go and play it out. New lake, new.
I think there's some pretty good evening entertainment venues in Texarkana as well. So I have to Google that up. My buddy plays down there quite a bit. I can't remember the name. It's Ice House or something. I can't remember. We'll check it out.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too. That community has got a lot going on. I mean, it's an interstate town, and there's just a lot of traffic and a lot of opportunities there. We're there to fish, but there's other things that go on in that weekend for folks that can enjoy the city, enjoy the nightlife. I'm pretty sure there's a big wine festival that weekend. If anybody's trying to bring their partners out or meet anybody at a wine festival, that's going down. There's things. It's not like you're in the middle of nowhere with no service, just waiting for the morning to start.
Well done, Valentine. I was waiting. Catalina wine mixer right there. Texarkana wine mixer. It's gonna be.
Let's go. Hey, let's get it. It could be a good time and that's what it's all about.
Should we host that, Ryan? The Texarkana wine mixer, hosted by KBN.
So. I think we have to now.
Bob Baylor can MC it if he'll come down. That'd be fantastic. Wow, yeah. Let's get into some more of the possible rule tweaks, AJ. You went with the AOI 3 out of 8, and we kind of went into the schedule. But what else? What else are we looking at?
We're going to extend registration a little bit longer, but it's registration is going to have its normal time. But for the folks, and it's anywhere from 10 to 20, I would say, at any event, want to register the week of the event. They miss it every time. So, we are going to allow that. It's just going to cost more. So if you miss out on the normal entry, you're going to pay a little more. We're going to put a little more in the payout and get you in there. We are going to work on adjusting our off limits a little bit, still dialing that in, but we're still going to do the practice week. The way that worked out, I think that went out pretty well. I mean, kind of what we were hoping to do there. Now, as far as what some folks would consider big news, one of the things with Hobie is we've been running events for a really long time. Sailing, surfing, fishing events. And a big part of Hobie was the fact that we were human propulsion in all of our events. And it's been really important for us in this series to not just, prioritize that, but showcase that. Obviously, the Hobie Mirage drives an amazing pedal drive and does a lot of things, to help folks on the water. One of the things that we want to do, because this series is, what you all called a elite kayak series. It's not
low class.
That's not. Yes, we're not a low class series. Not saying anything is specifically. But
I am. That was me, not you.
I think
that was Jeff, not me.
I think it's important for us to, as the fishing industry, as the kayak tournament scene evolves, for us to still evolve with it, like I've mentioned many times through this. So what we're doing this year is we're going to have some events that are motorized and some that aren't. So
a mix?
A little mix this year.
Okay,
we're going to mix it up. And we're going to do that. So there are events, and it's, I won't release the details yet. That'll all come out. But 6 events and the TOC are going to be motorized, allowed, and 2 events will be the rules similar to last year. So paddle only, you can use your motor in practice. For this year, especially as folks are transitioning to, do I want to buy a motor or is it the right time? We wanted to still have those opportunities for folks to get in there that, maybe feel like they don't want to compete in a pedal or a motor situation. It's just a big change for us as far as the history and structure of all of the events that we've run as a company for many years. But we did want to do it in a kind of a soft launch way. 6 and 2 isn't very soft, so maybe that's not the right word. But it's a good mix, and we're excited to announce, what events those will be here really soon, and that way everybody knows. If you've wanted to fish the Hobie series, if you have a motor and that's your style, we're going to be able to accommodate this year. And the folks that are still pedal or paddle only, we've got 2 events for you, but we'd love to have you in any of the other events as well, because as you all know, motors are definitely an advantage in some ways, but they can also be a disadvantage in others. And at the end of the day, you just got to go catch fish. And that's really what it's all about.
Well, I would say, I would bet that most of the people in the comments, most people in the lobby watching this were waiting to hear that news one way or the other. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I paid him $20 because I got an autopilot. Yeah. Please, AJ, please.
And you got Ryan will tell you the truth on this. Ryan got that autopilot, and when he announced that on here, people took that as he had some insider information that this was going to be the move.
And I had none. I was thinking I was going to have to pedal my Outback in the Hobie tournaments, which I kept, and I will in the 2 that we can't use motors.
Zach Trevino on Facebook has a great question. DP. Double power? Is it single motor only, AJ?
Single motor only. If you want to practice DP, then you can practice.
In case you missed that episode, AJ, that is dual power. That's what we came up with.
Yeah, the last few episodes, there's been some catchphrases that morphed out of them that were unintentional but glorious at the same time. It's been wild.
Yeah, we're gonna go with one motor for competition, but it is specified in practice. If you would like to practice that way, that's all right. But I think it is important for people to also grasp what they're putting motors on, and just be aware of like what your motor ratings are and what your boat is supposed to handle, because safety is important. I think that you guys just I think it's easy and desirable to want to have all the things, but if you're still in a 10 or 12 foot kayak, maybe you want to tone that back just a little bit.
I think though, I mean, industry wide, you've seen it, and I just don't read the comments anymore, Jeff. We're doing an interview here. Stop posting them. Stop.
I'm gonna have to go take this off the BOS site.
Sorry, man.
Before it gets out of hand.
Anyway, all right. But I mean, I think as you look at kind of the landscape of tournament series, we've seen a huge motor shift. I mean, from local trails to the mid-level stuff, all the way up to the Hobies, all the way to the top, you've seen the motor stuff coming. So I think that was probably a catching point for some folks, because they're like, oh, well, I rigged my kayak out with this motor. And you get guys that were buying the paddle only kayaks, for instance, not pedal drives, and they were going just all in on the motor part. So I think, having this is going to allow you to pick up that demographic that can now stop making an excuse to come fish the Hobie Series.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are easy excuses for folks. And, at the end of the day, people are going to fish what they want to fish. I mean, I know there's people that will never fish the Hobie Series because it has the name Hobie in it. And I hate that for them, because, we have a good time. We're just fishing. Like, there's not some like weird Hobie like cult meeting that you've got to go to just to be at these events. They're opens. They're for everybody. I wanted those anglers specifically to feel like this was an opportunity for them to come and fish with us. And I do, it is a sensitive subject for some people, and it's been a strong line for us in the past for a lot of different reasons. And, I appreciate some of those anglers, hopefully they'll not still be mad at us, and they'll want to come out and fish some. But there's a lot of reasons and strategy that goes into all this stuff. But I think it's important for us to showcase that there are a lot of anglers that have Hobies that like to put motors on their Hobies, whether it's a bow or a stern. And, even though we as a company, really showcase our pedal drive, because that's really an important component of our products, our boats do accommodate and perform well, motorized as well. And so I think we'll see that, and we'll see folks that bought our product to motorize that haven't been able to come to these events. Vinny does get invites to the cult meetings. He's allowed to come in. He's allowed to stick his on in there.
He has to put a blindfold on, gets walked to the meeting, then he can participate. Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
Poor Vinny. A lot of, you said it, AJ, at the Hobie events. If you on tournament day, there's a bracket back there on well over half the boats, right? They just had to take the motor off for the tournament, so they already had them. They're already using them. And those folks that held off from entering just because of that. Now there's no more barrier. So here we go.
Well, there's that. The thing too that I started hearing more and more is, I know that some people didn't ever really look at kayak fishing as as any sort of exercise or movement, but I can tell you the amount of people that don't ever pedal or paddle their kayaks anymore and tell you how tired they are on day 2 of a tournament because of how they motorize all practice and all the time, and they hardly even pedal anymore. It's like, I think we need to stay active, folks. Like, I feel like that's a good thing. I feel like, you can get out and walk around a little bit, it'll be okay. We can work through this. Motors are a good thing for a lot of things. It opens up a lot of water. It spreads some folks out. I think in some rougher conditions, it will allow folks to feel safer getting back to their ramps because they have that power. So there's just a lot of different variables, and I think we saw some of that this year with the wind on Santee Cooper and some of the other things that we've experienced. So it's important for us to continue to evolve with the series to accommodate as many anglers as possible. So we can showcase Hobie in the BOS to folks like we wanted to from the start.
I think the main thing is listening to your consumer. Like, you guys have direct visualization of the response to things. So like the Angler of the Year adjustment, right? And then you have all the people complaining, wanting motors. Like, you're making adjustments to further that field and give the people what they're asking for. So I think that's a great move, and I'm sure you'll see a return on it here once the entries open up this year.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. Let's transition. So I will go ahead and say that the first 2 events will be motors allowed. So Harris Chain and Sam Rayburn will allow motors. And we will be working on getting those up with the full updated rules by Thursday. So Thursday is when technically registration will open up for those 2 events. And we're just going to put them out there. It's kind of like, and let folks know, I think we're just going to kind of go back to how it was and, let the angler excitement build it. If we're trying to build it in a way that it isn't, that it wasn't the same this last year over the year before, I don't think that it had the same impact for us or for the anglers. And so we're just going to kind of roll that out there and get some folks some opportunity to use some of their Christmas money and things like that to get into those events. I mean, the first event's like 4 weeks away. So let's just be, kind of real about that. It might feel like it's next year, but it is right down the road. And so, we want to make sure we get everything out and keep everybody ahead of things because, there are some rules that will start to apply as far as, when you're allowed to see guides or use guides and all of that stuff. No big changes there. So, but we do have some changes in some of the timing and we're, like I said, fine tuning some of that. But by Thursday, it will all be live, if not a little bit sooner. And Thursday at noon is when registration for the first 2 events will go live.
Outstanding.
I like it.
We've got questions rolling in. Let me go back to some of these questions. Well, Josh, we already answered that one. Sorry. This question is as old as time. AJ, do you still get it? Do I have to have a Hobie?
Yeah, no, you don't. No, we even put the word open in the title of the event series just so folks felt like it was open to all. But no, I still get it, and it almost makes me chuckle now, almost. But it's as old as time, and
read the rules.
Yeah, it's wild, and it's crazy because we've had a lot of anglers from other manufacturers, teams that have done well. We've promoted other brands on our media pages. We have tried to make sure folks knew that and could enjoy the series in whatever kayak they're using. And it's just hard. It's just hard to understand how that gets through the cracks sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, look, Dwayne is our one LinkedIn viewer.
Yes.
Shows up every now and then. So Dwayne, we appreciate you over there.
Shout out Dwayne. Dwayne keeps everything rolling for us. He's Attorney X. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without all the things that he's done. So appreciate Dwayne.
Yeah, we just had a great show with Dwayne talking about some of the code rewrite and some of the things they're doing with Attorney X. Rewriting the program basically from the ground up and offering a lot more options and things in the future there. It's going to be cool. The OnlyFans thing is going to be great, or the fans thing.
I was going to say that was the episode where things started going off the rails and then just continued to spiral with Vinny.
Yeah, it's gotten bad. AJ, you're widely known as like the most professional guy on camera and on stage, so I'm sorry we're putting you through this tonight.
Again, I'm sorry Jeff is putting you through this tonight.
No. It's
I didn't
each one reach one, Ryan. That's what we're doing here. Everybody together. All together.
All right. Anyway, moving on professionally. What else you got for us? Any other?
I think one of the things that we're going to do, like I said, kind of evolve. We've obviously have been a metal catch board only, and I think we've seen that the other board that Catch produces is an adequate board, and other series are using that. So I think, in order for us to want to kind of continue to evolve and also open the door for another board to come out, I know that there's different things, but like, I don't want people to feel like we are just a metal catch series. We are going to be just a catch series, but if there's some other boards that come out with that Yak Attack ever comes out, we want to view it. We want to make sure that, like I said, we're staying in an evolvement stage of this series. It's not this way forever. So, we will allow the yellow carbonate board next year. This is also your reminder to use your holiday money or anything to buy any board other than the original Catch. Like the Catch X is great. The carbonate will be great. But that OG board is one of the worst boards to judge on of all time. So it's the lines, the fading, there's no things on all the things that they've improved on. And then the fact that just a lot of anglers think it's a joke to clean their boards. It impacts. No, hey, I'm not talking to anybody on this.
Hey.
I'm not pointing any specific.
I'll wash mine off with a beer in the parking lot. What are you talking about?
We know, we all know, and it's it's just one of those things that we see that, and it gets worse and worse. Don't buy a black board. Like, black's the worst. You will not get the full sizes that you need on your fish. Like, just little things. I mean, I know they look cool. I know they're all that. But like, if you want to understand the things that you could do on the front end that'll help you on tournament day, have a board that's not going to cost you a quarter or a half an inch. Clean your board so I can see things clearly. Don't buy a black board. All of those things really are, they are things that will help you.
Don't be out there trying to reline your board, Corey. We're watching you. You're on the radar now.
We go to people are already ready to manipulate their boards once we go back.
I like that Catch carbonate. I've had one in the packaging laying in my garage floor for a while because, I mean, we could use in the TVKA stuff, but like National Trail wise, you couldn't use it. I drug my fully loaded Pro Angler across it the other day with the batteries and everything in it. Drug it across it the other day on the concrete, and I was like, oh man, there goes that board. Didn't even hurt it, not a bit. Thing's pretty tough.
Speaking of boards, this is just a little public service announcement. I thought I saw it the other day. I just went to confirm to make sure I wasn't going to lie to everybody watching. On the Old Town website, sorry, AJ, I'm talking to you. They're doing an apparel sale, and as part of the apparel accessory sale, they've got the metal new catch board with the numbers on the edges for $34. So you can't beat that. Go buy that $34 board.
What a deal! That's
unbelievable. $34. Anyway, go ahead. It's for the people, man. They got to save some money here at Christmas.
Oh, all right. Yeah. What?
No, and really, there's not really a lot of rule changes outside of those things. We had some communication stuff last year. We've dialed that in and refined it. We've kind of taken 2 rules, made it 1 rule, made it kind of, hopefully more clear. And really the whole point is so you're not able to use your phone or an electronic device to communicate with somebody else on the water or even off the water to get strategies, technique stuff, lake information, things like that. In some capacities, you can have these conversations outside of tournament hours, but while you're on the water, using your phone for those purposes is not going to be allowed. So that's not a rule change. It's just word refinement and trying to kind of clear the muddy out of that water that we dove into last year. And, I think overall, I think it was that was a really positive thing. And I'm glad that was accepted the way that it was, and people respected it the way they did.
Are off limits, is that changing at all?
Yeah, looking to pull the off limits back quite a bit. The 21 days, it was really 14 days. So we're just trying to find what that exact, it's 14 days before the practice period starts. So we're looking to try to find what that exact number is, that we want to land with. We're playing with a couple different things right now that we'll have dialed in the next day or so, but I don't think it's going to be that. So essentially 3 weeks out, we might look at just the week before practice starts that it's off. Just trying to dial that in. It's one of the things for that. It was, we felt like a lot of local folks weren't even aware of this event until after, they'd already fished in the off limits. Then they find out. One of those things, it's hard to be open and available to all. When you go into a local area and you're not accommodating to the local anglers, and a lot of times that hurts your attendance and it hurts the support locally. And I think that was one of those things that it made sense in some ways, and then some others, I don't know that that's necessarily the way that we want it to be structured.
Garrett Morgan, hang on, I'll throw it up here. Kind of in response to that. Still have the weekend before, I hope. So like official practice will start.
Yeah, official practice will start on that Saturday. So you'll have the Saturday, and that's really kind of when the event practice rules would start. So that's not changing, but it's just the 2 weeks prior to practice starting, kind of dialing in that and fine tuning that number the way that we want it. It will be different. It will not be what it was last year in the verbiage or the timeline. It will be less. So we're just finalizing that perfect number there.
Launches and boundaries. Anything changing there?
No, right. We're gonna roll out with the ramps like we did last year. The positive feedback I received from that was tremendous. Not just from the anglers that just took a lot of the questions out of, even it's not as much what other people were doing. For them, it was what they were doing, and it felt like they were. It just felt right for them. The local communities appreciated it. Now, there was one local community on the Harris chain of lakes that did not appreciate me adding their ramp. It was a little rough there on day one. So, we'll have to look at that. I think part of the thing is just because it's a ramp, just because it's available, just because you use it in practice, doesn't mean that it's going to be something that we can make it an official launch. Because if 20 people roll up in there, it is something that is a problem. It does get police called. There's not proper parking. There's all the things that come to that. So, remember, like when we put these maps together, we're doing it in anticipation of a full field. And, we want it to be accommodating in every aspect. So there are going to be places that are not going to be available, but I do want you all to communicate with me on those. I'd rather tell you no than feel like I missed a spot that we want to be able to have you on there. And if you've gone and looked at our events, they're not really limited. I mean, on any one of our events, we had anywhere from 17 to 50 launches. So it's not like we were trying to fine tune to 4 or 5 or anything crazy like that. In the one that we had 17, it was literally every public launch that was available, on that fishery. So it's really just making sure that everybody knows what's public and official, as opposed to trying to just let it be a free for all, or for us to feel like we're choking it down and only allowing part of what's available for any particular reason.
Let me throw some of these questions up, Ryan. From over on YouTube, Willie's Truth About Fishing. Is there going to be a cap on the number of anglers that could register for an event?
Yeah, we'll stay at 225 this year. We hit 200 cap a couple times. We raised it to 225. The highest we got this year was 205. So until we hit the cap, or have a reason to extend it, I think 225 is a really perfect number for us.
Facebook, Clifton Allen. What's the easiest color for you to judge?
Kentucky blue, man. Kentucky blue for sure. And seriously though, it is. The purple has done well. The red on the X, I suggest anglers, when you're storing your boards in the back of your kayak, store them upside down. It does two things. It doesn't sun fade them. And it also doesn't allow the top side to get as hot. So, a lot of times when it's really warm outside, you lay that fish down on a really hot board and it's going to freak out. It might even kind of tense up. You might lose a little bit of the fish there. So if you keep that board bottom side down, you're not going to get as much fading and you're also not going to get as hot.
How you feeling about that yellow one, though? Is that going to make it easy throwing that yellow one down?
The yellow one's really bright. It's going to be a little aggressive on the screen. You're taking out some of the calming colors of the X boards, and you're adding, very, very aggressive,
Kentucky blue to Iowa yellow, right there.
Very aggressive yellow. But at the end of the day, I want to see it clearly. The contrast on that board is spectacular when it comes to the back of the board, to the numbers and the lines. So I think for me, that's really, at the end of the day, I can work through some colors as long as I can see the things that I need to see on that board. It'll be a big step up from some of the faded and chipped boards that we've been working through the last couple years.
Let's see. We got a few. Randy Creason asked, day 2 cuts. Was that kicked around at all?
No, day 2 cuts themselves enough, man. We got so many people that go home on day 2. At the end of the day, the people that stay and fish day 2, they get their easy now.
A squirrel got out.
She heard day 2 and got pissed.
She said, "Daddy's home.
Daddy's home. Day 2. He's home."
Listening to midday updates at the house.
Yeah, ain't no better.
We'll keep day 2 out there. I mean, we see probably anywhere from 25 to 40% of our anglers will leave at some point before the tournament ends on day 2. We understand why that is. It can be a little frustrating, for the anglers out there, but there are things that happen when people stay on the water. It's hard to see that in the moment. You grind out on a fishery that maybe you're not doing as well on, you think, but you end up catching 2 more fish at the end of the day. You end up catching a limit that day that pushes you into like the top 40 or 50. And you don't think about it then, but that might have been the points that did matter to get you into the TOC or even push somebody else out. Those little things matter. And it's hard to think that when you're having a rough tournament or you're ready to get home. It's going to be hard for me to ever sit and have a problem with the way people travel, because folks give up so much to come to these events, and it's not easy. They'll spend the days on the front end. They'll travel all night, Sunday night, so they can be back home and then be at work on Monday. It's an absolute grind. That's not lost on me. I was a grinder on the tournament scene for a little while. I get it. It's a strain. But I also have to tell you the other side of staying on the water and what that can, do for your season as a whole. So, we get it. We just want y'all to be careful going home.
We got a Twitch question, right?
Oh,
Alex on the water from Twitch. Thoughts on live streaming during the Hobie tourney? I that could be either way. Like, anglers can try to do it if they want, but I'm assuming he's asking, has Hobie ever kicked around the idea? And is that a thing that could come in the future, AJ, where there's actually a little bit of live streaming?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that Steve and I would love to do. Yeah. Yeah.
You just throw him off.
There's just too much. Much there. I'm gonna have to just get right back on that. So yeah, we would love to. It's definitely something that I think increases the enjoyment of watching the event. I know that I spent a good amount of time watching Dusty have meltdowns and then come back from that in the same hour on the water, and it was it was crazy. And it was like, I just wanted to like call him and be like, man, you are stressing me out. But like, that's real. That's so genuine. And there's other people that you could watch that do that. And take a different approach on the water. And then there's people that catch them really good. Then they'd probably be incredibly boring to watch. And we have no idea because we don't see that. But that's the story that I wish that I could tell on a midday update and that Steve would love to showcase. And it's things that we would like to try to do. But it's hard, like Steve gets on the water. He gets some really good pictures. He gets some really good conversation with anglers, but he's doing it from like 40, yards away because, these anglers are in this area and he doesn't want to disrupt their spots. So getting those, moments are a little bit, more difficult in a kayak. I don't think we've refined it, but we do encourage our anglers to go live. And I do watch those when I can because I find them to be very interesting, very entertaining. And I learn a lot and on how people handle themselves on the water. And I think hearing, those conversations with a boater or a crappie angler or, maybe something that isn't going well and understanding how that situation is helps me do my job better, helps me prepare for future things and allow our other anglers to learn from those situations too. So I like that perspective. I think putting kayak fishing in somebody's home, like in viewership in a professional way would be amazing. And I'm hoping we can see that before too long, whether it's BOS or another series. It's just, it's very expensive. And it's something that, we film, the TOC, we filmed it in the past. We filmed other events on Kentucky Lake. We turned it into a TV show. It's on YouTube. But there's something to be said for live. And that's something that we would really love to have the opportunity to do one day.
Yeah, one thing I mentioned to Dwayne, I don't know if you saw that show, AJ, when we had him on, is he needs to come up with a way to give direct access to you to people's cameras where you can just turn them on whenever you want to check in.
Yeah, that'd be great entertainment.
You can just activate that phone camera, see what's up, check in live. No. Use the Patriot Act to your advantage. That's what we want to do there.
Yeah.
LOL. That's right.
Can we get Corey Dreyer's question answered before he asks it again?
Right. Well, there it is, right there.
The number of qualifying spots for TOC remain the same.
Oh, Corey, I love when Corey just throws out, some hot items. We are, we definitely came from 50 to 60 last year, so there's an increase of 10 there. I think there's a goal for us to land in that 70 to 75 range. But I don't know if 24 is the year to do it. Steve and I are playing with some numbers. I think we want to just cap out at 70 or 75 and that be the final and not ever grow from there. But is 24 the right year to do it or is 25? That'll be announced a little bit later. But it will come. So it's, the thing about the TOC is it's really a special event. I know if people want it to be less, but the thing about that event, if there is more anglers there, that's more folks that get to have that experience, the catered meals, the tablecloths, the camaraderie with the anglers that we don't get in our open events anymore. And it's more people that might shoot for that throughout the course of the year. It also helps in our host locations that want to see more than 50 come through in a championship. So there's a lot of variables there. I think 50 was a really good entry number, and I think 75 or 70 will be a really good max number that we'll end with. But it's either, we're just kind of fine tuning if it'll be 60 or 70 for 24.
I can't wait for the day it gets to 75 so I can finish 78th or 9th or something like that.
That's I'm pretty consistent on that the last couple of years.
That'll be fun. Max Lee asked, will the TOC allow motors? I think you already said they would.
Yeah, the TOC allow motors. Another thing that we're doing as far as qualifiers going, it's not going to be 3 automatics for every event. I think it's really awkward and odd for an event with 205 to get 3 anglers, an event with 90 to get 3 anglers. So we've got it in tiers. So like, I think it's 99 and below is 2 anglers, 100 to 149 is 3, 150 to I have to remember, but there's like, just to tiers, and then 200 and up is 5. So, that number will change and evolve through attendance. Then there will be a guaranteed number for Angler of the Year on points, but that number will also grow throughout the course of the year as maybe a couple events don't hit 5 or hit 4 automatic qualifiers. So those will be sliding scales based on attendance, and evolve through that. So that's kind of one of the things we wanted to do, as the attendance was larger in some events, is to give more credit in that auto qualifier there.
Over on YouTube, Johnny Maddox, the check-in out feature was more utilized by all the trails, I'd say. He's asking, is it going to be?
We did. We put that in our rules that it would be in AOY, and then we came out really shortly after that and said that it wasn't, and kind of changed the verbiage in the rules. And we thought that system would really, we had to find a way that we could automatically take that feature and then implement it into our AOY points. And it wasn't something that we were able to do the way that we wanted to do. So it made that something that wasn't attainable. And really the whole thing there was a safety thing. I mean, really just check in and out for us. We don't want to make rules around it. We don't want to punish people about it. It reminds you earlier in the day to do that. It's a safety thing and safety alone. So that's, we want to incentivize and not punish, but really we're just asking you to play the game with us and let us know where you put in, mainly let us know where you get off the water.
Excellent. Let's see any more questions for AJ? Are the world's qualification, another Corey question, world's qualifications changing for 24?
Yeah, man. Steve Fields runs the Hobie Fishing Worlds and is in charge of all the qualifications, and he would love to talk to you about that. I don't. I'm messing with Corey, but no, it's been consistent. So the winner of the TOC and the top 3 in AOY will go to the Worlds, and Steve is.
You offering Randy or what?
Sorry, AJ. Whenever you're saying something, I like to throw a comment up to throw everything out of whack. My apologies. I don't know what that meant. Anyway.
All right.
Steve Fields, Worlds. Talk to Steve.
Yeah, and I want to give a big shout out to Steve. Steve since he came on board, it feels like he's been with BOS for a long time now, but he's elevated our presence both in media, on our website, and just kind of helped control all of that side, and allows us to have good live meetings, and he just really cultivates the relationships with our sponsors and makes all that happen. So really appreciative of Steve and all that he does. He wears a lot of different hats at Hobie, so really glad that he's able to keep on his BOS hat. And really just, if you've not ever gone and looked at Steve's pictures from the events,
he's awesome.
They're really awesome. And, there's, one of the things that I really like about Steve is he's got a certain people that he goes and gets certain shots from. But he also finds people that he doesn't even know and has conversations with them and gets pictures, and it doesn't matter what brand they're in. And he goes and just does his thing. And he showcases that there's more to it than just the top anglers every event. There's a lot of people out there that are just having a good time and doing, having a little different experience on the water.
And I encourage you to cut up with Steve, because he usually has some pretty sharp comebacks. So always engage with Steve when you see him on the water.
We're not going to keep you too much longer, AJ. We'll wrap this thing up because I know we've been at this a while. It's been a huge audience tonight. We've been rolling about 150 live between YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. And then I've been monitoring over on Instagram and Rumble. There's been a fair amount of folks over there. I missed some Instagram questions because I didn't keep up with the comments scrolling, but those same questions got asked here. So if you're watching on Instagram, appreciate you over there. Corey Racer asked, what about making day 2 mandatory for day 2 fish to count? Like, come to the weigh-in for those fish to count, like a boat tourney.
Yeah, I mean, we can play with all sorts of things, but, at the end of the day, like, that's going to deter people because, they need, some people factor all that in, and like I said earlier, I don't want to get into like punishing people, from the investment that they've already made. I know if they were fishing a boat weigh-in tournament, they'd have to come back anyways. I want people to come back because they want to come back. And we do get that. And I think more and more, but to feel like you have to be forced there and then to discredit everything that you've done because you did decide to go home for another reason, I think that's just a hard stance to have in our structure of tournament. I think the things that makes our structure of tournament unique does allow someone to go home early on Sunday, but it also allowed their money to get paid to somebody. And, we want them to come. And if they strategize, if they don't do well, they're going to go home early and then they'll put more into the next tournament. That's kind of what we see. That's kind of what we're okay with. But we do, encourage people to come back around and cheer on your friends when they win money in these tournaments. I think that's something that we used to have a lot of. It's something that the TOC has. And it's really special when, there is a crowd of people instead of, the live audience. But that's another thing that we do that isn't as common in some, way style events. And so it's unique. I'm with you. It'd be better to have everybody there, but we don't have to force it for fish to count, so that's kind of where we're standing with it right now.
I like it. That's the last of the saved questions I had. AJ, you want to stick around so we can do this giveaway, man?
Yeah. I've got a couple of things I'm going to want to say as a closing out thing, but yeah.
Let's do this giveaway real quick and we'll let you close it out. And before we do the giveaway, I saw a comment earlier and I lost it, Ryan. Clifton said, send up some prayers for Pat Malone. I don't know what's going on with Pat. I know he's been in a long battle.
He made a post. I read it and started crying going home last night from the freaking airport. Patrick Malone has been battling cancer for is it 2 years now? It was right after that Texas Bassmaster Classic when we were all hanging out when he found out about it. And, it's wearing down on him. And I think he said he had an issue that was kind of in his intestines and they're not going to be able to do anything to repair that. So everybody pray for Patrick and, peace and healing for his family.
Yeah, amen. So if you're the praying type, pray for Patrick. Even if you're not, send a prayer up for Patrick because he needs them. He's one of the good ones, man. He was kind of at the foundation of getting a lot of the high-level tournaments going in Texas, and he's just a great human being in general. So prayers up for him and his family. Tough enough news there. A lot of through the hashtag BOS, people tried to cheat it with the Revo tonight, Ryan. So I went with BOS.
Always trying to get that.
I tried to think of something with the motors tonight, but I couldn't come up with anything. See prayers for Pat in the comments. Appreciate y'all so much. Let's see. I want the numbers to grow. We got 80 in the giveaway, 100 and nearly 150 on the live. So there's got to be a few more hashtags thrown in there. AJ, you can go ahead and start throwing some closing remarks out if you want while I let these numbers build. Then I'll throw just back on the screen.
I want to give a shout out to the sponsors for BOS. I'm not going to read them out loud, but you guys can go look and see who they are. But some of them have supported us for so long, even as a single series. They've supported the Worlds. They've supported all this. Not just our sponsors, but any sponsor of this show, of your local club, of other national events. If there's a brand that supports something that you like to do, give that brand a shot. Go shop them. Go get your next opportunity, whatever that is there from them. They need your support. That's why they're sponsoring. They want to showcase their product to you. Investing in the people that are investing in our series is what keeps all of this running. It's why, we give away glasses at our events. It's why, glasses are being given away now. We want people to support these products. And, now's a great time. There's no better time to get your next fishing or kayak product. Just think of the sponsors first is all we ask because, that's why they're doing what they're doing, is to be on your mind when you're at the store and looking for your next product. That's really important. That's the one thing. The other thing, just want to, thank everybody that supports BOS, that supports Hobie, that supports this show and the voice that you guys give anglers. This community is it's an interesting community. But we
always a pro, AJ, always a pro.
we represent a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, we all love to do the same thing, even if it is in different ways or with different models or series. But none of us would be here doing what we're doing if it wasn't for all the folks that have supported us along the way. And, just thank you all. Thank you guys for giving anglers a voice and allowing, directors to come out here and,
What was that?
my turn.
You getting a fax? What is that?
Is everybody okay?
It was Ryan. It's Ryan. Damn you, Ryan.
Is everybody okay?
Yeah, everybody's okay. It's Ryan. I love you, Ryan.
All right. So yeah,
leave and come back.
Just and a shout out to my main guys. As far as tournament directors out there, Vinny Ferreri, Steve Owens. They're the guys that, when you look at the structure out there and what's going on, those two guys, the native series that Vinny has going on is just completely different structure. It blew up this year. His schedule's incredible next year. You got what Steve's doing with Bassmaster, and it's just, we have an incredible, leadership right now in these 3 series that's, doing things. And I appreciate their friendships and their communication, and everything that they do to help me and stuff there. So I just want to give those shout outs, and obviously thanks to Hobie for supporting this series, supporting anglers, always wanting to give back to the the activities that they make products for, and that's through multiple ownership groups over many decades. So it's a part of our history and our heritage, and Hobie supporting us and in the work that Steve does too. So I know y'all hear me thank a lot of people, but I just always got to take a chance to thank the people that make it all happen.
Yeah. Ryan, are you safe?
Buddy, I don't know what just I don't know if that was an Amber Alert or a tornado or what. Anyway, we'll finish this show, and I'll see if we're still around tomorrow.
Steven Sisto said you should have pretended to be cursing the whole time that was going on.
I was. It wasn't pretending.
wasn't pretending. Yeah, we're gonna do this giveaway, and AJ, I'll tip the cap to you. I know I kind of laughed about it at the beginning, talking about raising up our sport to a high class series, made it kind of a joke, but I was serious, man. You were at the groundwork of taking us to another level. So hats off to you, and thanks to you as well, man, because you put a lot of work in. Garrett Morgan in the comments said, is AJ going to dip back into one of these tournaments to keep these young guys in check? Because you used to be out here doing damage.
Do it.
So you put that in the background to do this. So
y'all give me dual power, and I'll get the 17 out of the garage, and we'll get after it.
Yes. DP that 17. Let's go. Okay. I was just looking for a reason to say it, right?
I know.
All right. Let's do this. Let's do this giveaway and wrap this thing up before we get canceled tonight. All right. Revo's hashtag BOS24. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be YouTube, Facebook? Could be the Twitcher tonight. We never can tell. We haven't had a Twitch winner tonight. Justin Rednauer on YouTube. Has he won before?
I think he has. It sounds like name strikes a chord with me. I think he has one before.
There we go. Guess what, Ryan? Because it's the week before Christmas, we're giving away another pair right now. We're doing 2 pairs.
Oh my!
2 pairs. It's DP double pairs. Dual
pairs. Oh man!
Double pairs. We're doing another pair. So hang on, guys. We're gonna do another one. So Justin Rednauer.
Everybody hashtag it again. 10 more minutes on the clock.
Yeah. Let's go. Who's it gonna be? Big boy Yakin. Hey, that's my man Levi, the Amish yacker over here from Arkansas.
All right.
Yeah. Amish giant, big boy.
Yeah, look for the XL size though. I want them to fit. I want them to fit you. Okay. I think I think it's the rock crawlers that the big head people were buying.
Yeah. You know Levi, AJ, 6'10", mountain of a man, bookend, one of the big bookend offensive tackles for kayak fishing. That's what he is. So there we go. Well, congrats to both.
Keep an eye out for him if you don't know him. He's he's coming to a BOS series near you.
Yeah, man. All right. Great show. A lot of good comments about it. I thought it was fun. AJ, appreciate you taking the time to share with us tonight, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. Rules will be updated. It'll get added on later this week. Registration for the first 2 events will go live on Thursday at noon Eastern. Looking forward to another great year. And thank you guys for all y'all do. And happy holidays, right?
Yeah, man. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. We'll see y'all. We'll see you on the road, man.
All right, guys. Thank y'all.
We go.